Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Palantir Technologies continues to rally, and this week is going to be very exciting for PLTR, considering that the stock has closed at a 2-year high, and we're continuing to see buying pressure, bullishness, and even higher price targets coming into Palantir. We're going to talk about what the rest of the year could bring, and possibly what is 2024 going to be like, not only for Palantir, but for AI stocks in general. So if you're a new watcher or returning, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just collecting the data and dispatching it to you. Now, let's pop it up on the screen here. What we do have is Palantir, in terms of the last Friday session, closed at 2049. We're still seeing an immense amount of trading volume, basically 7 million right here, with a market cap of right under 45 billion. What we see is Palantir was able to break out against that psychological and one of the biggest points of critical resistance, which was $20, and we were able to hold this level, and now we're seeing this breakout above the 20. Now the question is, we're seeing high price targets of the 25. If the AI rally continues into next week, and especially the rally that we've been seeing in November, considering the possibility of holding interest rates steady, can Palantir achieve these higher price targets? Now, quickly looking into the options right now, we see a lot of traders that are still continuing to take a bullish perspective on Palantir. You're seeing over 10,000 in terms of volume, in terms of strike prices, higher than the current price at the 2050, 21, 21.5. And yes, you have some puts, the volume high here on the puts, but the calls are still outweighing that. And even in terms of December 1st expirations, you still have calls in the thousands in terms of volumes with $20 strike prices and above. And looking into some of the media articles that we do have right here is that, like I've said, Palantir is up. Highest price that we've seen in 2 years, even though that Peter Thiel's venture company sold 48 million worth of Palantir. Now, what's specific about this is that this was stock that was accumulated over a decade ago. So some profit taking here is not to be too surprising, considering the run up that Palantir has had, and with stock that's been holding for over 10 years. Now, with Palantir and what we're seeing with stock news, and why we could see a continue of momentum coming into the stock, is from hedge funds and family offices that are filing their 13Fs for the third quarter with the SEC. And this is basically saying what kind of stocks that they are holding, what kind of transactions, what they've done. And Palantir stock is a common holding among many of them. So what we're seeing is more family offices, hedge funds that are holding Palantir stock and are bullish on it, considering that they're taking long positions. Now, with that being said, and in terms of the actual price targets that we've had Ives that has reiterated this $25 price target on Palantir stock several times since July. And what's interesting and surprising is that we've not seen a correction with the stock, and we've actually seen this price target getting closer and closer and closer, possibly being reached here in the near future, talking about other stocks that still have potential to grow, such as Apple right here. And what we do have is a quote right here saying that they believe that the new tech bull market has now begun, and that tech stocks are set up for a strong 2024 as the AI spending tidal wave hits the shores of the broader tech sector. And this is great, especially since we've already seen a run up in 2023 in terms of the AI industry. We're now seeing this continue, and could AI stocks have a great 2024? And talking about this, and with Palantir, we're seeing this expansion in terms of the Fibonacci retracement that provides a reading of 22.18. And what we're also seeing is the simple moving average and support levels that are sitting at about the 18 right here. So the fact that support is being basically established here at the 18 and right here at the 17, kind of on the lows for the 17s, is great. Having that, because considering the gap that was created after the Q3 earnings right here, I thought we were possibly going to see a correction and some filling of this gap. However, we have too much bullish momentum and rally right here that is continuing to push Palantir. Now, there could be some speculation that we do need to take into effect right here, that if there's any changes in macroeconomic environment, there could be large amounts of volatility that does come into Palantir. So things do not always go up. But however, what we've seen is this continuation of the rally among AI stocks. And what you're seeing here is more bullish articles talking about no-brainer AI stocks to buy right now. And Palantir is on the list, coming here from the Motley Fool, talking about and really pinpointing the fact that Palantir is still fallen around 50% from its all-time high of $39. A lot of people that are newer to Palantir Palantir or have not looked at the max history of Palantir have not realized that Palantir has actually been at nearly $40. And even though that we're seeing this price to earnings multiple of 66, this means that many investors are still paying a high premium for Palantir. One thing to know is that Palantir has always traded at a high premium, and this is common among other stocks, tech stocks, and even AI stocks. And what we could see is eventually Palantir growing into this valuation, especially with the AIP bootcamp that is bringing more customers to the table by diversifying their customer bases, by getting more involved with commercial customers, bringing in more revenue and getting exposures to different types of environment. And the high exposure to the public sector right here, over 80% of the third quarter revenue, gives the economic moat in that government contracts, in addition, those already require a high amount of credibility and trust. And Palantir has really been focusing on these government contracts, but now diversifying among the clientele. So we're seeing diversification in that sense, which is great in terms of demand and also revenue income, not relying on a majority sector, which is important because if that sector were to pull out for any reason, is where we could see large fluctuations in revenue for the company. So getting their feet wet in multiple different sectors, I think, is important in my opinion. But looking right here with those Q3 results, we know that those were great, and this is kind of what exponentiated and helped blow off this top for Palantir as this continues right here. But this growth suggests a promising trajectory for future revenues, and especially for people looking into the next decade for 2023, there's been some great metrics using many different types of analytics softwares, using many different types of analytic projectors that are predicting increased revenue metrics for Palantir over the next decade. And continuing that, the profitability improves with the S&P 500 inclusion coming. This was with that fourth quarter of GAAP profitability. We've talked about this a lot, but I don't know if we understand the true power behind this, that the amount of stocks that do track the S&P 500, the amount of ETFs, index funds that are involved with tracking that, brings a lot of buying confidence and just regardless buying pressure into Palantir. This can help, especially with Palantir coming into the S&P 500, starting to gain some maturity and also working to fulfill that gap of the high price to earnings ratio that we're seeing right now in terms of the high valuation behind Palantir, because that is one of the biggest criticisms. And like I said, you have this bullish articles even from Motley Fool that continues here saying that got $3,000 in 10 years, that these three stocks can make you rich, and Palantir is among that. So what we're seeing is Palantir is on top of the headlines right now. It's one of the most trendy stocks that we have seen out there in a while, and it's been one of the top searched AI stocks according to a lot of different data analytic reports. So many eyeballs are taking a bet on Palantir's future, and they are continuing to deliver. And this is why we're seeing many analysts that are still continuing to be bullish for their stock, even though this rally is continuing to explode. And we're seeing Palantir at these 2-year highs. Like I said, be careful out there because we could see corrections at any moment if there's any changes in the macroeconomic environment or just changes within Palantir itself. What we've seen is a lot of bullish articles, like I've said, not many bearish ones. So keep that in mind, but also Palantir looking like it keeps doubting the bears. That's all about I have for you guys. Take care, peace out, and I'll catch you guys later. Have a great day.